like cheating. I'm like, no, not really. Cause I think.
Hello, this is again Marda B. Tabon from BP Ed 1B. So in this video, we will talk about cranial nerves. So what are cranial nerves? Cranial nerves are pairs of nerves that connect your brain to different parts of your head, neck, and trunk. There are 12 of them, each named for their functions or structure. Each nerve also has a corresponding Roman numeral between 1 and 12. This is based off their location from front to back. For example, your olfactory nerve is closest to the front of your head, so it's designated as 1. Their functions are usually categorized as being either sensory or motor. Sensory nerves are involved with your senses such as smell, hearing, and touch. Motor nerves controls the movement and functions of muscles or glands. There are 12 cranial nerves. They are olfactory nerve, optic nerve, oculomotor nerve, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, and hypoglossal nerves. So in this part, we will locate the 12 cranial nerves using my printed picture of the cranial nerves. I traced it with a ball pen so that it would be really clear in the camera. So let's start. So this part here is what we call the olfactory, and then this part here is what we call the optic, and then this part here is what we call the oculomotor, and then this part here is what we call the trochlear, this one, and then this part here is what we call the trigeminal. Then let's proceed here, this one. So that part here is what we call the abducens, and then this part here is what we call the facial, this one, and then this part here is what we call the vestibulocochlear, and then this part here is what we call the glossopharyngeal, then this part here is what we call the vagus, this one, the vagus, and then this part here, this one, is what we call the accessory, and then this part here is what we call the hypoglossal. So those are the 12 cranial nerves here in the picture. So let's now proceed to the functions of the 12 cranial nerves. Let's start with the Roman numeral 1, the olfactory nerve. Here, the olfactory nerve transmits sensory information to your brain regarding smells that we encounter. Then the second one here, the optic nerve. The optic nerve is the sensory nerve that involves vision. Then the third one, which is the oculomotor, this one. The oculomotor nerves has two different motor functions. The first one is the muscle function, and the second one is the pupil response. So muscle functions, your oculomotor nerves provides motor function to 4 of the 6 muscles around our eyes. These muscles help our eyes to move and focus on objects. For the pupil response, it also helps to control size of our pupil as it responds to light. The fourth one is the trochlear. The trochlear nerve. The trochlear nerve controls our superior oblique muscle. This is the muscle that is responsible for downward, outward, and inward eye movements. So the fifth one is the trigeminal nerve. The trigeminal nerve is the largest of our cranial nerves and has both sensory and motor functions. The trigeminal nerve has 3 divisions, which are ophthalmic. The ophthalmic division sends sensory information from the upper part of our face, including our forehead, scalp, and our eyelids. The maxillary. The division communicates sensory information from the middle part of our face, including our cheeks, upper lip, and our nasal cavity. So the third one is the mandibular. The mandibular division is both of a sensory and a motor function. It sends sensory information from our ears, lower lips, and chin. It also controls the movement of the muscle within our jaw and our ear. So the sixth cranial nerves is abducens nerves. This one.
That's kick.
The abducens nerves controls another muscles that are associated with eye movement called the lateral rectus muscle. This muscle is involved in outward eye movement. So seventh Roman numeral cranial nerves is the facial nerve, this part here. The facial nerves provides both sensory and motor functions, including muscles, moving muscles used for facial expressions, and as well as some muscles in our jaw. It also provides a sense of taste for most of our tongue, and it also supply glands in our head or neck area, such as salivary glands and tear-producing glands. It also communicates sensations from the outer parts of our ear. The eighth one is the vestibulocochlear nerve, this part here. The vestibulocochlear nerve has sensory functions involving hearing and balance. It consists of two parts, the cochlear portion and the vestibular portion. The cochlear portion, its specialized cells within your ear detect vibrations from sound based off of the sound's loudness and pitch. This generates nerves impulses that are transmitted to the cochlear nerve. The next second division is the vestibular portion. It is another set of special cells in this portion can track both linear and rotational movements of our head. This information is transmitted to the vestibular nerve and used to adjust our balance and our equilibrium. So the ninth one is the glossopharyngeal nerve. The glossopharyngeal nerve has both motor and sensory functions. It includes sending sensory information from our sinuses, the back of our throat, parts of our inner ear, and the back part of our tongue. It also provides a sense of taste for the back part of our tongue. It also stimulates voluntarily movement of the muscles in the back of our throat called the stylopharyngeus. So the 10th one is the vagus. This one. The vagus nerves is a very diverse nerve. It has both sensory and motor functions. This includes communicating sensation information from our ear canal and parts of our throat, sending sensory information from our organs in our chest and trunk such as our heart and intestines. It also allows motor control of muscles in our throat, stimulating the muscles of organs in our chest and trunk, including those that moves food to our digestive throat. Out of all the cranial nerves, the vagus nerves has the longest pathway. It extends from our head all the way into our abdomen. It originates in the part of our brainstem called the medulla. So the 11th one is the accessory nerve. Our accessory nerve is a motor nerve that controls the muscles in our neck. These muscles allow us to rotate, flex, and extend our neck and shoulders. It's divided into two parts, the spinal and cranial. The spinal portion originates in the upper part of our spinal cord. The cranial part starts in our medulla oblongata. So the 12th one is the hypoglossal nerve. Our hypoglossal nerve is the 12th cranial nerve, which is responsible for the movement of most of the muscles in our tongue. It starts in the medulla oblongata and moves down in the jaw where it reaches the tongue. So the hypoglossal nerve is this one. So that's all. So those are the 12 cranial nerves and its functions. So thank you for watching and I hope you learned something. Babush!